Hi guys, welcome to my channel, Lighting Your Sunshine, where we like to shine a light within and empower ourselves. So I made a video this morning. I didn't expect to, but as I did it was like, it's time to clean up. And so I did a lot of yard work. It was such a productive, peaceful day. And I don't know, I was just sitting here in the good vibes, and they're like, all right, hop on again. So for this reading, we're gonna use the Soul's Journey, and then we're going to use butterfly. So there's been a change or a transformation or something. So let's just see what the soul wants to share today. What's part of the soul's journey? Nope, too many. Woo! Okay, so two flew out. One's orange, one in reverse, and one yellow. So the one in reverse is change. I'm hearing the change is done. It says, I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement. So as this morning's reading was, it was all about you can get downloads, you can get all that, but if you don't have that inspired action, no change will happen. So it was a busy day. So change happened. And then the next one to come out, bugs, was success. What I think is kind of interesting is I see mostly the orange and the blue and the orange, and there's a little bit of yellow. So there is success in the movement, in the change, in the wheel. And then over here, with that orange and blue in it, being surrounded by yellow. And I heard they call me mellow yellow, but mellow, chill, peaceful. But mostly I see, and then when you look really close, I was gonna talk about the sun. I was like, this isn't as bright as like you'd expect the sun to be. They both have little suns in the middle. So there's something that you lit your sunshine, and Spirit's really happy about that. It seems, okay, so in this one, it's more solid, and in this one, it seems more fragmented. But here's the thing, it's not a fragment, it's a mosaic. So, should I pull one more? They say yes. So this is like what happened, this is past energy, and this is like what's coming in now. It's that one. Oh, it was two. So we have discipline, and then, I don't know if this is upright or reverse, but envy. Okay, so let's do discipline. So the purple says, I can accomplish what I set my mind to. And you can. And the envy. I must admit that this envy has kind of thrown me for a loop. I don't know how this is coming out with this change and this success, but it says, I am the same as everybody with different challenges. So let's pull the other deck on this envy to do with your discipline. And because you're disciplined, you created change for you, and that change created success. So when you're successful and you can get yourself out of a dark place or out of a problem or a challenge, those who sometimes don't want to do the work, right? Those who get the inspired action, yet don't answer the call. Especially when it comes to spirit in a spiritual journey. So this is a spiritual journey. It's not a physical, go out and weed the garden, do those things. But when you're called to expand on your spiritual path, it says, I'm the same as everyone else. Like, everyone kind of gets the call. They hear the same thing, but not everyone is going to answer the call. So, will you answer? So now let's do the butterflies. I heard flyby as like a drive-by, but they showed me it like cars driving, but then the flying, it was like that air, that how do butterflies even fly? They tell me to show the courage first. But it's almost like that light and airy. Whereas on the ground, it's very like, you gotta watch out for everything, right? It's very solid, it's intense. But up in the sky, it almost seems like the way you did it, that's it, they're telling me now. I just keep talking and it comes. They're like, the way you did it seems so effortless, like you didn't put much effort into it, but that's because you had that inspired action, and because you had inspired action, Spirit's co-creating with you. And so it almost seems like you have your head in the sky, daydreaming or something, but then boom, something like physical manifests, and people are like, what the hell, like I didn't even see him work hard. And so like, do they deserve is kind of the thing that I'm getting. There's another bug. Okay, so mosquito. So the first one that came out was End of an Era, which is that chapter, that closing, that cycle. Now what was the, oh yeah, that change. You change something, and because most people like you to stay the same, right? This is how I met you. We don't want you to grow, right? It's almost like crabs in a bucket. I only want you to stay here, but if you get the call, sometimes you gotta leave things, right? The next one to come out was relationship dynamics, family changes with self-employment. And so, yeah, dynamics change. And I guess with those dynamics, it's not everyone, again, answers the call, so not everyone gets to go with you. But with this family changes, I think when you listen to spirit and you walk your soul's growth, it's not only you, right? We're going to that envy. I'm the same as everyone, but with different challenges. There are some people who have the same challenges and the same soul mission, and guess what? That's your soul family. So things seem different, but it's like soul family. And so what about this soul family coming in? Well, now they can come in because there's space for them, right? Space to be your unique self, because again, in your soul family, it's going to go back to that envy. I'm the same as everyone, right? You're human, but you have your own quirks and personality and traits and all these things, but with different challenges. So we have two extremely different ones, but they vibe because they're from the same tribe. They have the same heart, the heart frequency, and that's elevating up. So now we have self-employment. What about self-employment? Okay, so when I saw it, it was like all these, like, I saw pretty pink flowers, and it was just sitting there looking pretty. And that's what, if you capture this in like a picture, but that's not life, right? If you take a picture or you look at something in one split second of their life, you think you can maybe read how everything is going, but there's movement, there's dynamic, right? And so this butterfly goes from here to here to here, and it like helps put the pollen from this one to this one to this one. It's like, it's doing a lot of work. But if you like stop, it's almost like in that one. So, but what are they saying? It's like follow your inspired action, but the main thing is to do it peacefully. And because you do it peacefully, when you stay in your peace, it almost looks effortless. Why is it just gliding in the air? This little leaf floating in the wind. And with that leaf floating, you have a lot of opportunities, and so it's just saying, don't go out and like try to force things right now, because change already happened. You already did whatever it was. So it's like Spirit said to do this, now you just sit back and chill. And I think that's the part that bugs people, is like, why are they sitting so pretty? But it's like, because Spirit told me that now is the time to rest. But they're like, but shouldn't you be focusing on this? That's not the way to do it. And it's like, well, Spirit didn't tell me to do it that way. It told me to do it this way. And I trust Spirit, and I trust my guides, and they would never lead me astray. And right now they say, go. And now they say rest. And now they say go again. And then they say, check over here. Look over there. So I want to pull just one card on soul's purpose with self-employment. And then that's pretty much it. Just wrap it up. It did all the cleaning. Now you sit back and just chill. My brother came out. He's like, why are you sitting in the shade? Because they always called me growing up like the sun goddess, because I love the sun. I could just sit in the sun and be so happy. It could be like plus 30. I'm like, this is best. But I have to work tonight. So I got purpose. I was like, if I get stuck on the patio, that's gonna be too much sun today. There is like a need for balance. So balance of light and dark, which I wore this morning, was that balance of the yin yang. I got a lot of yin energy, like that's the feminine energy, the whatever. That's been like the main call to be, to step into that, but don't stay there, they say. But anyways, on this self-employment, and the words on it, I know what I'm here to do. You know what you're here to do. I just sang that song in the last one, so maybe I'll tap it in there too. But it's your purpose, and your purpose is unique to you, and just enjoy the adventure because you know what you're here to do. You know when to do it, how to do it, and all the whys and hows and everything in between. So sometimes it's go, sometimes it's chill. Just remember to ebb and flow and keep growing. So with that, we'll leave it there. Have a good day. We'll see you next time. Bye, guys.